this is expensive. Investing in this kind of thing, investing in the Times rankings, investing in the software, investing in the time to really create that kind of employee engagement is a cost. Clearly, it's a cost that hasn't held you back, as your growth rate has been through the roof consistently year on year, and you've got a brilliant reputation for being a leader in the field of recruitment, and you've spun out a consultancy from that, so you're doing something right. What would you say to boards or to businesses that say, okay, we do want to retain, we are investing in perks, all of that, but it's just, that's a lot of money, whatever that number might be. How have you justified it to people? I'm sure you've had boards or maybe not entire boards, but people on the board that say, really, Simon, it's tough. We could be much more profitable if you just didn't invest in that line item. What have you been able to turn around and say, well, we got these clients because of it, or we landed this many searches, or we have our people are this much more productive? What has that conversation looked like?
Well, I think it's the thing. I think it's the only thing that has allowed us to be successful. We're not a manufacturer of some widget with a that nobody else can make. We're simply providing the service, and it's human beings providing that service. So if they're as engaged as they can be, they'll provide the best service, and the rest flows from that. Mm-hmm. The candidates like it, come back to us. The clients love it, come back to us. The people that are here stay. We attract a better quality of person here, and it's all this big flywheel. But and I wouldn't say it's a huge cost in pounds, shillings, and pence kind of thing. It's a cost. It's a massive cost in terms of time and focus and thought. Because care, as I say, is this multifaceted thing that sometimes it's quite difficult. There is a subjectivity to what people's interpretation of what care is. Mm-hmm. And I think often that you need to leave that at an individual level, because we all know what being cared for feels like or not being cared for feels like. And so to a certain extent, you do need to leave that kind of softness there. But ultimately, it all comes back to driving profitable growth, and is certainly what we've found. And often, I think the mistake people make is that they think of it as a line cost in terms of money, whereas it's actually in terms of effort, it's in terms of thought, it's in terms of slowing down, often in terms of how you do stuff. And I think where people go wrong with it is they often think that if we pay for more of this, if we have more, if we have more incentives, or if we have more perks or fruit bowls, or gym membership or unlimited holiday, all of these things, right? So here's two great examples, right? Unlimited holiday, but everyone's watching what you're taking. I mean, how ridiculous is that? So gym membership, but it's frowned on if you take a second more than an hour for lunch. Well, if you're going to go to the gym, have a good workout, it's probably going to take a little bit more than an hour, right? And you might come back a little bit sweaty. But I don't know about you, but if I go to the gym during lunchtime, I will work twice as well in the afternoon. I won't have that post-lunch slump. I'll feel better about it. I feel looked after, cared for by the company, and my life's a little bit better. So again, free gym membership, and then frowning when somebody comes in a little bit, it's all a complicated thing. But again, it comes from, historically, I think we've managed people in terms of their input rather than their output. And so an easy thing to measure people on is their FaceTime. But FaceTime tells you nothing. It just tells you they're sitting at a desk. Because people often ask us this. They say, oh, it sounds lovely. You have all these things. You go skiing, this bunch behind, you go skiing, you do all these things. We see loads of pictures of you having a great time. When do you ever work? Well, of course, the reality is we work really, really hard. But we also enjoy what we do, and that gives us a bit more energy. And when we are working, we're really engaged. We're not just sitting there staring at a screen thinking, God, I hate my boss. Well, they might be thinking that, I don't know.
I think the other word that sort of is a corollary to it is trust, right? So it's you have a trust people are going to do the right thing, that they are going to do the right thing.
You're so right.
For the company, for the clients, and that they're not mutually exclusive. And then you've got to treat everybody like the adults that they are, which is sadly not always the case. And certainly there is abuse as well. There are people who will take the piss, but I think they're found out pretty quickly, I think. So
I think you're so right. I think you need to start from a position of trust. You really do. And I think so often we start from the opposite position, which is, I won't trust you until you give me some sense that I should trust you. Or maybe I won't trust you at all because you're an employee and you're trying to get away with whatever you can, right? As opposed to, we're all in this together. We're trying to achieve the best things for us individually and collectively. And if you're managing it well, those things are very much in tune. Well, I'll tell you one other thing that we do that I think has probably made a bit of a difference is we've given away over time 40% of the equity, or we will have given away by the time we have some kind of an event, 40% of the equity in the company. So I think there is a bit more of a sense of, it's not management or the owners exploiting the workers. It's like we're in this together. I still have 60% of the company, but that feels like a more than adequate reward for the risk that I took. But I think 95% would feels excessive, and so I think there is a sense that things are a little bit more collegiate, that we're in this together, that when we're talking about building value for the company, it's not just building value for Simon, it is building value for everybody. And I think that has definitely helped us along the way. Again, like anything else, it gives you your own issues, which is people kind of going, well, why haven't I got more? So and so's got this, and so you have those conversations around. But if you manage those with care, and you've distributed those options with care, then you're less likely to have those issues.
Yeah, it sounds very simple and basic, but
it is.
It's also hard. Simple. It's hard to live, and I think it's great that you guys are proof that it works. And
Gabby, sorry to interrupt, but it is simple. It's really simple. I think all the best ideas are. It's not easy to do, but the idea is really simple. So everybody can get behind that and either buy into it. And if they do, they want to work here, they want to stay here. And if they don't, they'll go somewhere else. And that's brilliant too.
I think that's everything, Simon. I mean, certainly, like you said, there's a ton here to unpick. Is there anything else you want to add?
I tell you, there is actually one thing, which is I kind of started this company off with the notion of care. And what I was really worried about was when we grew, once it grew beyond me being able to make that impact and remind people and be conscious of it and nag them to death about it, and just sometimes it's positive, sometimes it's you helping, sometimes you're kind of pointing stuff out, that I really thought it would disappear. I didn't think it would disappear. I was really worried about how we keep it going, especially when you get past this thing they call the Dunbar number, which is where people are just, not everybody can be interconnected, which I think is about 120 people. We're now 240, something like that. And so not everybody knows each other. So there isn't a connection, but what there is this culture connects everybody. So this understanding that is how we do stuff has become self-perpetuating because people benefit from it individually. They prefer working in an environment like this. They come in as a new employee, and people are kind to them. They look after them without having a reason to do it. Not just their manager, but other people just look after them. And so I think when it comes to their turn and somebody new joins and they've been here for a year, they automatically do that thing. So that's the lovely thing. That's not to say we're complacent about it. We really, really watch it. But I am really excited by this idea of that culture of care being self-perpetuating, because it's a beneficial thing that people appreciate, and because human beings are basically good people, want to take forward. And that, for me, that's a really exciting thing for me, because as I get more and more distant from the company and get bigger and bigger, that's the thing that would upset me more than anything, more than a lack of growth, I think, would be if I felt that culture was diminishing in some way. And that's not because I'm just a big softie. I think that's the thing that drives the growth, right? But if you focus on that, the growth comes, as opposed to trying to focus on the growth and then wonder why it's not arriving because everybody is leaving because you're driving too hard, whatever it is. So that is really exciting for me. That is the one thing I continue to be. I watch like a hawk, but I'm a long way away from being connected to the company because of its size and because I'm not the CEO anymore. But I still see that culture getting stronger and stronger. Perhaps with me out of the way, actually. But either way, I'm delighted. I'm delighted and excited. Yeah, that's really exciting, because if we can do it at 250 people, where not everybody knows everybody, we must be able to do it at 500 and 1,000.
Yeah, then it's scalable.
Not only is it scalable, but hopefully we might be proving something. We might be helping other companies that have yet to start, or companies that are perhaps not getting quite the traction they want, to look at things in a different way, in a more human way, and help the companies be more successful. But most importantly, help the people in those organizations be a little bit more fulfilled and a little happier with what they're doing.
I think you can rest assured in the knowledge that you've built LaFosse into exactly that. LaFosse means that, and is a shining example of that you can build a business profitably and aggressively in a really good, strong, and values-led way. And there are too few examples of that, but I give you a lot of credit for being one of them. And congratulations, Simon. You should be really proud of what you've built and what's yet to come. And thank you so much for spending your time with us.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.